What's up everyone? So this console war business has been going on since like the early 90s, okay, when the SNES and Sega Genesis were going head to head. At least that's when it started for me, and I've been in the middle of it for my entire life. As someone who's passionate about gaming, as someone who likes to debate things, like which is the best for whatever reason or whatnot, I've just kind of always been involved with the console wars, and I've always done my best to take a neutral stance, form unbiased opinions, but in all my years of debating consoles and debating games, I've never come across a more pathetic bunch of losers than these die-hard Xbox fanboys. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail about all of their bullshit. In this video, I just want to talk about how they only make arguments that suit their agenda, and they'll completely ignore facts, and they completely just act like hypocrites, flip-flopping their opinions all over the place. Now, the biggest and most apparent example of this is when sales are brought up. Like when Drive Club or Bloodborne hits 2 million sales. Or when the PS4 hits 30 million in under 2 years of sales. Or they win 18 out of 21 months NPD results. Whatever it may be, the Xbots just don't want to talk about it. Sales don't matter. They say you can't play sales. Yet, during those 3 months where Xbox One was the highest selling console in the US, they wouldn't shut up about it. Like, seriously, make up your freaking minds. You can't say sales don't matter and then brag about them when you win. You've forfeited your right to brag about sales by saying they don't matter. Even if Xbox One miraculously catches up and surpasses PS4 in total sales, you idiots can't say shit. Because if you're saying sales don't matter now, then they wouldn't matter if Xbox One is on top either. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Now, another thing is this whole no games argument. And I've made videos before proving that the PS4 has more games. As you can see here, the PS4 has an abundance more games, almost 80% more games than the Xbox One. So immediately their argument is invalid, it's void, wrong, just get the fuck out of here. But what they come back with is, well, it has no AAA games, which again is wrong because it has plenty. But then they'll ask you to name them. They'll say, okay, fine, name all the AAA games. So you go ahead and you start naming them. And they have a response for each and every single one of them that, in their mind, makes the game not worth owning or not worthy of being a AAA title or whatever the hell they think is going to dismiss it. For example, you say Bloodborne, and they're going to say, oh, it's a niche title, so it doesn't really count. Nobody wants it. It's just a niche game. Okay, what about The Order 1886? Oh, it's too short. There's no multiplayer. The game sucks. No good. All right, well, what about Drive Club? Oh, it's only 30 frames per second. No good. Okay, Until Dawn. Again, niche game, niche genre. You know, choose your own adventure games suck. Next one. The Last of Us Remastered. Oh, remasters don't count. Infamous Second Son. Oh, it was downgraded. You know, they just make shit up, and they have an excuse for everything. And I mean, the list goes on, dude. They have an excuse for every single fucking game you mention. Yet, if you ask them for a list of their AAA games that what they consider AAA for Xbox One, it's going to include games like Dead Rising 3, which is 900p 30 frames per second. Rise, Short Story, again, 900p 30 frames per second. Forza Motorsport 5, the most bland racing game out there. No dynamic weather, no night driving, horrible background graphics. Sunset Overdrive, 900p 30 frames per second. Titanfall, fucking 720p. Master Chief Collection, broken. I mean, I could go on and on and on. It's the same thing. But the point is, these Xbox tards will slander and bash PS4 games for certain things, yet they embrace and defend those same things on Xbox One games. And now the latest argument is that Xbox One is a better console because even though the PS4 has more games, the Xbox One has more AAA games. Now, for those of you who don't know, a game gets a AAA status depending on the cost of development. It's pretty much impossible to know the development cost of most of these games, but there are some that are obvious AAAs, and they're the ones that are marketed the most. They have the highest production values, the best graphics, the best voice actors, the best motion capture, all that stuff. But there's some games that are sort of questionable, so for this reason it's difficult to make lists of AAA games for each console to compare them. Regardless of that, the argument that these diluted Xbots are basically trying to make is that the production value of a video game takes precedence over its quality and its overall fun factor. They dismiss games like Rocket League and Resogun because they were developed by indie studios, even though they're incredibly fun and addicting. They dismiss games like Hellblade and No Man's Sky. Even though they're being made on AAA budgets, the fact that they're created by small independent studios means that they're automatically no good and not even worth mentioning. Yet they're going to sit there and brag about games that have the same cardboard cutout crowds repeated throughout an entire track, games that have frame dips to the teens, games where the multiplayer doesn't work, games with 5-hour campaigns, and games that have graphics comparable to Xbox 360. I mean, they literally have zero valid arguments to make, so they just twist things and make shit up to suit their own agenda depending on the circumstance. And these fools are always acting so confused as to why the PS4 is dominating the console market, because as they say, it has no games, it has no AAA games to play. So let me just make something very clear right now. AAA does not equal fun, AAA does not equal quality, and AAA does not equal a better gaming experience. The PS4 is winning because it has a far broader spectrum of games, it has a much wider variety that appeals to a much larger amount of people, they have all the right third-party deals with all of the biggest multi-platform games. It's winning because it's a more powerful system, the graphics look better, this is a fact, not a myth, it's been proven over and over, the console performs better both in-game and in the user interface. Sony is giving the consumers what they want, Microsoft is trying to give consumers what they think they want. That is the biggest difference between the two, and until you can wrap your head around that, you'll never understand it. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again, there's no shame in second best, so just accept it and move on. But that's going to be it for this video. That's it for me for now, guys. I'm Wild Self. Later, villains.